Welcome back to my channel Watson's World, fellow investigators and true crime fans. Today we're setting our sights on the scenic parish of Manchester, Jamaica. But we aren't here for its picturesque landscapes. Instead, we're diving deep into a story veiled in gloom and uncertainty. A tale of intrigue, secrecy, and a search for the truth. This is the perplexing case of Reverend Orville Moore.
What you have to say for yourself?
What's for dinner?
What's going on here?
What's that stink?
What's this for?
What time is it? What's that?
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Now, every local knows Spur Tree Hill in Manchester, Jamaica, with its sharp bends, steep slopes, and the haunting echo of vehicles revving against gravity. It's a place notorious for accidents, where the beauty of nature contrasts starkly with the danger of the road. But on that fateful Thursday, June 1st, 2023, the story there took a darker turn. Reverend Orville Moore, Deputy Commissioner of Corrections and a cornerstone of the Jamaican community, was found lifeless with his wrecked car just a stone's throw away. The immediate thought? Another tragic accident on that treacherous hill. But as we delve deeper, you will see there's much more lurking beneath the surface of this tale. Let's rewind a bit here. It was a Monday, May 29th, 2023, when Reverend Moore was last seen on Farewell Avenue, Malines Road, leaving his home. Those days turned into restless nights for many. The community in suspense. Where is Reverend Moore? Until that fateful discovery on Spur Tree Hill. The initial investigations deemed it a tragic mishap, an accident. But was it? Bishop Dr. Alvin Bailey, a respected name in Jamaica's spiritual realm, wasn't convinced. He revealed unsettling details from an independent autopsy, details that sent chills through the very spine of the community. An autopsy that Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey also spoke to during an interview with Loop News.
It is my understanding that the postmortem for the late Reverend Orville Moore was done today, and the cause of death was determined to be strangulation. It's not really surprising because we had that suspicion. So far we have no evidence or any suspicion based on our investigation that a third party was traveling with him. But the investigation is open, and we're appealing to the public, if they have any information, to call our NIB tip line at 811, Crime Stop at 311, or Police Emergency 811. But we continue to do lines of inquiries. We have been able to, based on we have seen sight of the Reverend at different points of the journey. And we have not seen where there was a third party or a second person in the vehicle with him.
Now, diving deeper into the details paints an even more perplexing picture. Think about it. Reverend Moore's body is found on the notorious Spur Tree Hill, a place where accidents are common. Yet Moore's injuries don't quite fit the expected narrative. Minimal scratches or bruises, but then there's the haunting sign of a wire mark around his neck. Clear evidence of strangulation. But then, why the fractured rib and the dislocated back? Those don't scream car crash to me. This leaves us with a myriad of burning questions. Where exactly was Moore headed that evening? Why was he even considered missing in the first place? Why would anyone target him in such a brutal manner? And if no one was in the car with him, where did the perpetrator intercept him? Was he lured or did he pull over willingly? Were there overlooked witnesses? Perhaps someone who saw a second car or suspicious individuals? Were the initial assessments made too hastily? Could deeper, more sinister motives be lurking beneath the surface? Bishop Dr. Alvin Bailey, echoing the suspicions of many, posed that chilling question. Could it be that the orders for Reverend Moore's tragic end came from within the prison walls he so passionately sought to change? These claims steer the narrative in a new direction. Had Moore uncovered something? Had he stepped on the wrong toes? The silence of the Department of Correctional Services was puzzling. No outcry, no demands for a deeper investigation. Now questions loomed large. The community split between grieving and demanding answers. Reverend Moore's family, particularly his wife Sandra Dean Moore, found themselves in the eye of this storm, grappling with grief and suspicion. Their demand, the plain truth. As we approach the end of this video, guys, the layers of Reverend Moore's story remain partially peeled. A respected reverend, an accidental death on a notorious hill, and theories of a sinister plot. Listeners, it's a reminder, truth can often be stranger and more haunting than fiction. As the sun sets over Spur Tree Hill, the mystery of what transpired on that fateful night continues to loom. For now, the shadows hold their secrets close. Now, before we delve further into our explorations and analysis, it's vital to emphasize a key point. The perspectives and theories presented in this video are based on the information available to us and are purely speculative in nature. Now, while these speculations might provide some direction or raise new questions about Reverend Moore's case, they should not replace thorough, evidence-based investigations by professionals. Remember always to approach such cases with an open mind and respect for the investigative process. With that important note in mind, let's dive deeper into the shadowy waters of this case. Spur Tree Hill, a stretch of road synonymous with mishaps, a winding path that has silently witnessed more tragedies than we might care to imagine. And yet, this time, it became the backdrop of an act that seems out of character for its reputation. An act that appears intentional and eerily intimate: strangulation. Now, strangulation isn't just an act of violence. It's deeply personal. Unlike a shooting or stabbing, which can be carried out at a distance, strangulation requires the perpetrator to be up close and personal with the victim. Psychologically, it speaks of a killer exerting dominance, a need to feel the life leaving their victim. Given this chilling method of murder, one can't help but wonder, was the choice of Spur Tree Hill a mere convenience or an expert camouflage? Did the perpetrator know that accidents are common here and thus chose it to ensure the crime would initially be deemed an accident? Here are some more terrifying speculations given our journey so far. This wasn't a random act. The method suggests that Reverend Moore might have been targeted personally. Someone aware of Spur Tree Hill's reputation, aware that an accident here wouldn't raise immediate suspicion. The murderer is likely someone careful, someone who might have done this before, or at the very least, someone who cautiously planned out this act to avoid immediate detection. However, listeners, another theory has emerged, possibly being suggested by the police, casting an even darker shadow over the already perplexing events. Some speculate that, burdened by reasons unknown, Reverend Orville Moore might have intentionally steered his car off the menacing bends of Spur Tree Hill, seeking an escape from his troubles. However, instead of the immediate end he might have anticipated, he found himself with but minimal injuries. In an unspeakable twist of fate, it suggested he then made the somber decision to hang himself with a wire from a nearby tree, ensuring the grim task was complete. This theory, while heartbreaking, brings with it a slew of further questions. Was he truly so tormented? Were there any signs leading up to this point? And why choose such a convoluted method? We have speculated on the cold, calculated approach, the careful design. But as we peel back the layers of this mystery, another angle emerges in my mind. One that's more raw, driven by potential emotional turbulence. Strangulation, as we mentioned, is intimate, deeply personal. But could it have also been driven by high emotional hurt and outburst? Think about it, guys. The absence of anyone else seen with Moore, the secluded area, the seemingly random nature. Could it have been a chance encounter gone wrong? An argument that escalated into something far more sinister? Now let's entertain a thought here. Historically, in terms of crime statistics, men are more frequently the perpetrators of strangulation. It requires significant strength, especially if the victim is larger or more muscular than the assailant. But when women are the assailants in crimes of passion or high emotional turmoil, they may use tools or take the victim by surprise. Could Reverend Moore have been taken off guard? Was he vulnerable emotionally, making him less likely to resist or anticipate the attack? Or was there a means involved that aided the assailant? These are all questions that beg for answers. Now, it's essential to remember that while women are generally less likely to commit violent crimes, especially strangulation against men, it's not unheard of. Emotions, circumstances, and opportunities can play a massive role in any crime, regardless of gender. The perceived gender roles in violent crimes can sometimes be a double-edged sword, leading investigations away from potential leads. Remember, our natural biases can sometimes cloud judgment. Just because something is less common doesn't make it impossible. In the unpredictable nature of crime, sometimes the less likely scenarios can be the very twist that unravels the entire mystery. From this vantage point, combining the cold calculations with the fiery rage of emotions, we find ourselves navigating a labyrinth of possibilities. The eerie silence, the looming questions, and the paradoxical nature of this crime reminds us that the human psyche is a complex tapestry, one that sometimes defies logic and expectations. Listeners, as we navigate the twists and turns of this case, we can't help but be reminded of the collective responsibility we hold in our pursuit of justice. Perhaps you, our listeners, might hold a missing puzzle piece or have seen something that seemed inconspicuous at the time but could shed light on this enigmatic tragedy. If you have any information, no matter how minor it might seem, that could aid the police in solving this crime, please reach out. You can email me directly at thenoblecop@gmail.com. Rest assured, your identity will be kept strictly confidential. My primary duty is and always has been to keep others safe. Let's be a beacon of hope in the midst of this darkness. Let's work together to bring clarity to a story clouded in mystery. Guys, before you go, remember to click on the notification bell so that you'll be alerted every time I upload a new video. If you're not yet a subscriber, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, guys. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at The Noble Cop. Until next time, my beautiful people, walk good. Yeah, man.